Three, two, one, live. Here we are. I think we are going live at this time. Whoops. Let's get out of there. All right. All right, everyone. We're live. Monica Corrado here, the Gap Chef. It is Tuesday. It is 12:20, so I'm 5 minutes late. I am so happy to be here with you today, having missed the last 2 weeks. I thought it would be a lot of fun to talk about some things that are coming up when I'm talking with clients. The first thing I need to let you know is that I am not a medical doctor and nothing I say is about healing. I am a certified GAPS practitioner. I am the GAPS chef. I'm also a holistic nutritionist, etc., etc. I invite you to visit me at simplybeingwell.com, my website. I invite you to come with me to Italy. And oh, yes, wouldn't that be fabulously fun? What else can I tell you? I invite you to come and visit, peruse, avail yourself to my YouTube channel. You can look at Ask the Gap Chef. Monica Corrado. I've done, I don't know how many of these at this point, maybe 50, maybe 75, maybe more, of Facebook Lives for this group, my Ask the Gap Chef group. And I would love for all of you, to visit that YouTube. To go ahead and see what I've already talked about. There are some really good, not because I did them, but because they're really good topics for anyone who is trying to do the GAPS diet, who is endeavoring to take the GAPS journey, who is wanting to learn all about real food and how it can help you be well. So I invite you, especially people new to my page, new to this page, to look at the YouTube channel and to look especially at the 4 pillars of GAPS, which is where I explain, where I try to make it easy to understand what GAPS is all about and what you need to be doing, what things you need to be doing in order to really, I want to say master the diet, but do the diet well. All right, here we go. Here we are. Hello, hello. I finally got the comment section up so I can say hello to people. Hello to Mariah. Hello, Mariah. Hello, Cindy. Hello, Cindy. I'm so glad that there are lots of helpful videos there. That is my desire, to make sure that everyone's getting what they need. And again, folks, so I work on Dr. Natasha's GAPS training team, training the certified GAPS practitioners and the certified GAPS coaches on the cooking techniques that are specific to the GAPS diet. So that's my role there. I love it. It's fun. It's incredible. We have amazing people graduating. I'm so blessed to be part of that team. I also encourage everyone, if you are looking for any information about GAPS, please go directly to the source. Go to gaps.me. That is the official GAPS website. That's where you should start looking. Not even on my site, nobody else's site. Go straight to gaps.me if you would like to go to the get some more information about anything. Do visit the FAQs section. That's facts. Dr. Natasha is constantly updating that with specific answers to specific questions, and you can search. It has a search function. It's a little clunky, the search function, but if you're creative, you can get what you need there. And then, of course, do visit Dr. Natasha's blog. She has a blog. You can get to it from gaps.me. And, of course, I'm always encouraging people, please, please read the books. Don't try to do the diet without reading the books. Read the yellow book if you're really concerned with brain function and gut health and the connection. Read the blue book if you're concerned about anything else. There's an A to Z. There it is, sitting right with me. There is an A to Z of symptoms that are connected with a leaky gut, if you will. So take a look at that. And then, of course, visit our page. All right, here we are. Hello, Olivia from Portugal. Oh, Mariah, I've gone through all your YouTube videos and have watched almost all of them. Amazing. Thank you, Mariah. Yes, some days I look better than others. You know, sometimes I'm looking a little tired, but I'm thrilled to be here with you. My intention in this work is to accurately represent the GAPS diet. And so that's what you'll see me doing both on this page, Ask the GAPS Chef, and on other pages where I am. There's a GAPS diet group. There's all sorts of things out there. There are a lot of people trying to give you good information, and sometimes you need a certified GAPS practitioner to step in and clarify some things. Yes, that would be me. Okay, so in any case, folks, what I thought I'd do today is to talk about a really cool secret to managing die-off. Now, I do have a video called Managing Die-Off. I invite you to watch it. And as I was working with a client yesterday, or in the last couple of days anyway, I thought to myself, this is another secret to managing die-offs. So when I talk about managing die-off, what I'm suggesting is that, and I'm hoping, right? I'm suggesting that while you are going through the GAPS diet, whether you're on the full GAPS diet, having come in from Standard American, or whether you are on intro, having come in from full, or whether you went straight to intro, there's going to be die-off that happens, and die-off is not pretty. So, die-off meaning you'll have symptoms show up because the bad guys, those are my little quotes, right? The pathogenic microbes, the microbes who are out of balance that are not helping you, yeah? They are dying off, right? They'll be dying off. As we bring in good beneficial bacteria, beneficial microbes, the ones that are not beneficial will die off. When they die off, you're going to have symptoms. Those symptoms will be very, very different depending on who you are, what the state of your gut is, how much good bacteria or good microbes, the amount that you brought in at one time. It's going to be depending on a lot of things. How do you typically have symptoms, right? Not everyone is the same. Everyone's response will be different. So you may have headaches, migraines. You may have flu-like symptoms. You may have joint pain. You may have exhaustion. That's my typical die-off symptom. Right, just so tired. I can't even move. You may have eczema flares. You may have ears that turn red. You may have all sorts of things show up in response to the not beneficial microbes dying off, right? You may have diarrhea. You may have constipation. Golly gee willikers, we could go on. You could be sleepless, have sleepless nights. All sorts of things. All sorts of symptoms manifesting as die-off, and yours will be very specific to you. And your child's may look very different than yours do. No problem. Just keep a journal, keep a log so that you can figure out what's going on. In any case, so why do we have die-off? Because one reason I just spoke about, which is we bring in good bacteria or beneficial microbes. Remember, bacteria are a type of microbe. Yeah? So we're bringing in beneficial microbes, and the not beneficial ones are dying off. When they die, they release all their toxins into your blood or into your body that go through your blood, and then you start feeling terrible. Or the other option is that you take out those foods that feed those microbes that are not beneficial to you. What are they? Starches, nuts, seeds, fruit sometimes, certainly moving from the standard American diet to the GAPS diet. starves the microbes and then they die off. Okay, so enough about die off. However, I have a secret to share with you about how to manage die off. So again, the idea is you have tools. I'll start differently. You don't have to suffer terribly. You don't have to suffer at all. You don't have to suffer die-off symptoms. If you manage the way that you're bringing the food in, you get to manage that. What am I introducing? Good question. What do I introduce? When am I introducing it? How much am I introducing it? How often am I introducing it? All of those things they're like little knobs that you can turn in the GAPS diet as you're trying to manage the symptoms that show up with die-off. You get to do all of that. You get to manage it. Yeah? So, the thing that I wanted to share with you today is an idea of the role of dilution in GAPS. I don't think I've talked about this before, at least not specifically and focused in this focused way. The role of dilution in GAPS. What does that mean? That means that if you are wanting to introduce, we'll do two things. One is a food that you're sensitive to, and the other is a microbially rich food like a ferment or a culture. Yeah? So we're talking about cultured dairy, which would be kefir, or GAPS sour cream, which is cultured cream, or yogurt, yeah? Or even whey, yeah? Or a ferment like sauerkraut or sauerkraut juice or beet kvass or cabbage tonic or all sorts of things. Those are microbially live foods. When you make them yourself, which is what we're supposed to be doing on GAPS. Just saying, folks, remember, homemade is best. We can use commercially made things only in a pinch, right? And of course, you know that I'll always say, just do the best you can and bless it and go. But we also know that homemade is always best, because it will be microbially rich. It will be more potent. It will have more microbes than anything that you buy in a store. Okay, so I've talked about all the knobs you can turn. So let's talk right now about dilution, right? So let's talk first about bringing in something like an egg yolk, perhaps. Maybe your child or you yourself, you've not done well on egg yolks before. Or chicken egg yolks. Notice I've talked about using duck eggs or using turkey eggs or trying pheasant eggs, or maybe you can get the golden goose egg. That's kind of a joke. Sorry. I do tend to tell funny jokes. I think they're funny. I hope I get a ha-ha. Okay, so in any case, if you're bringing in egg yolk, what can you do? What do you always do? If egg yolk has been a problem in the past and you're trying to bring it into the diet, of course you've passed the skin sensitivity test. Yes. Then, if you've passed the skin sensitivity test, which is outlined in both the yellow book and the blue book, how to do it, all that good stuff, when to do it, etc., you take a drop. This is called dilution. You could take a drop of that egg yolk and put it into an entire bowl of meat stock or soup. That's dilution. You're not giving it straight to the body, right? We don't want to say, oh, I'm going to introduce egg yolks if we have had an issue before or we suspect a sensitivity. This is not about anaphylaxis, folks. We do not try to introduce anything on GAPS if there has been an anaphylactic allergy. All right, so just making sure you're all clear about that. But little sensitivity, maybe a little tummy ache, maybe hasn't done well before, don't feel too good on eggs, maybe results in an eczema flare. Head of a pin into the egg yolk. That drop goes into the soup or the stew or the meat stock or the whatever, and now that whole thing is diluted. right? It's diluted so that when the person eats it, there's just a little tiny bit of egg yolk in that whole bowl. That's what we call dilution. That's what I call dilution. You would never start with, oh, here, have an entire egg yolk in your bowl of soup or your bowl of stock or your whatever if a person has had a sensitivity prior or you suspect a sensitivity. All right. So let's talk about dilution with something like whey or dilution with something like meat stock even, right? Some people are highly sensitive. All sorts of things happening for people right now, and some people are highly sensitive. So do not, I'm not going to say do not. I encourage you, let's always go to the positive. I encourage you to back it up. Feel free to back it up and dilute. 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 We have lots of people who are having issues bringing in beef meat stock or bringing in lamb meat stock or any kind of meat stock, right? No problem. Make the meat stock the way that we make it, right? Short amount of time, small amount of water, relatively. Take a drop of that meat stock, put it in 8 ounces of water, and start with a drop of that. You can back it up that far if you need to. We do what we need to do because eventually the body's going to be able to bring in more and more and more gradually over time. That's a meat stock example. What's how about some cabbage juice? Cabbage tonic? I misspoke. Not cabbage juice. That's just juice of a cabbage. But cabbage tonic or sauerkraut juice, those are lactoferments, or beet kvass, right? What if we've made them in the traditional way, which is with lactobacilli, right? Not with kefir way. That's vegetable medley. That's over there. Right? But lactic acid bacteria, we've done a traditional ferment, I'm going to call it traditional, for sauerkraut or cabbage tonic or beet kvass. We want to start there because that will be bacteria versus yeast, less die-off. Yeah? So, if you want to bring in, you want to try and introduce some cabbage tonic or sauerkraut juice or beet kvass, yeah? Then you could take a drop of that and put it in an entire bowl of meat stock, entire bowl of soup, entire bowl of stew, right? So I just want to encourage you to get out those droppers. Not really. Make sure they're glass and not plastic, please. In any case, we don't want to have plastic in our kitchens to the extent that that's possible. So I just want to offer those things. Dilution, dilute, dilute, dilute. I encourage you to find somewhere, pull it back as far as you need to in order to start bringing some of these foods into your diet, into your children's diet, your child's diet, etc. I encourage you to dilute and then gradually increase, right? Sometimes we want to, this is another hint about dilution. Now we're going to talk about rhythm. Dilution and rhythm. Yeah? So perhaps you bring in 1 drop on Monday and you wait Tuesday and Wednesday and Thursday. Oh, all clear. Friday you bring in 1 drop again, same way. And then perhaps you wait Saturday and Sunday and Monday. Then you bring in another drop. See how the person is tolerating it, and then you can perhaps go 1 drop, wait 2 days in between, and then 1 drop every other day, and then 1 drop every day. You can back it up that slow, folks. Do not be afraid to back it up. This is not a race. This is healing. This is honoring the body. This is listening to what the body is saying. That's what this is all about. The body, or he, the body will always tell you how it's doing by symptoms, by die-off. So I just wanted to bring that up today. I'm happy to take questions now, but I just wanted to talk a little bit about the role of dilution in GAPS and in introducing foods that can cause die-off, like meat stock, like egg yolks, yeah, those can, and also all of your fermented foods, all of your cultured dairy. All right, so I've also given you rhythm for fun. All right, I wish you all the best. Rock and roll. Let's take some questions. All right. Olivia asks, can sudden bleeding gums be die-off? Why not? I'd have to get more about that. Like, is it just once or is it bleeding all the time? If you have pink toothbrush, meaning when you're brushing your teeth, the toothbrush is pink, that means your gums are bleeding. That is what I call scurvy, incipient scurvy, meaning you have a lack of vitamin C in the body. So you want to make sure you're eating a lot of sauerkraut, cabbage, and certainly fermented cabbage is one of the highest in vitamin C. So lots of sauerkraut, lots of cabbage tonic, lots of beautiful things like that to help those gums stop bleeding. If your gums are bleeding, highly possible your gut is more permeable than it should be. All right. Hello, Gladys. How are you? Good to have you with us. From Peru. Yay! I've been there. Peru in 2015, long time ago, 9 years, but a beautiful, beautiful country. Oh, so beautiful. Okay, hi, Bonnie. Good to have you. Good to see you. Hello, Miriam. Hello, hello. I have moderate UC. I'm doing the intro. Still confused if I should do the intro diet or the no plant diet. Yeah, so here's the answer that I have from Dr. Natasha. Try intro. If you're if you're not getting the kind of traction you need, meaning if you're not getting the healing that you need, go to no plant. The other thing about UC is if you're bleeding, go to no plant. Anyone who's bleeding needs to do no plant. Meaning you're bleeding right rectally. We don't want any of that. Plants equal. Plants are cleansers, but they're also sandpaper on a wound. So I have had a lot of really good success with people with UC doing no plant. It's amazing to see how well they heal. Nothing else worked. This may not be you, but you know, for the people I worked with, nothing else worked. They tried every diet you can think of, and finally they did no plant, and really healthy now. Okay. Let's see. I hope that was helpful about when do you do no plant. I mean, if you're bleeding, you see, right? Then we want to have, you want to do no plant, period. You certainly could try intro diet because intro is very low on plants, but if you're finding that you're not progressing, go to no plant. Yeah. All right. Hi, Paulina. Let's see. How do I know if I should start with intro gaps or full gaps? Well, so if you look in the blue book, Dr. Natasha has a whole list of who should start on full and who should start on intro. Basically, if you are one of the rule is too strong, but one of the guidelines is if you are prone to constipation, you start with full gaps. Anyone who tends to have constipation, you go to full gaps until you clear that constipation. I have videos about why you're constipated, and there's a lot of good information in yellow and blue books about that, how to clear that. But if you're prone to constipation, that's the biggest one of why Dr. Natasha suggests you start on full. The other one is it's a wonderful way to practice gaps, meaning learn how to make meat stock, bring it into your diet. Learn how to make homemade yogurt, bring it into your diet. Learn how to make sauerkraut and beet kvass and all sorts of other beautiful fermented things. Bring them into your diet and then go to intro. That's what a lot of the GAPS practitioners are telling clients, that almost everyone at this point. I am anyway. I usually do a modified full GAPS with people until they're really comfortable making meat stock, they've sourced their raw dairy, they're making kefir, their body's handling it. Then we go to intro. Um, who else should start with full? So, yeah, people who are learning how to cook, learning how to make the GAPS foods, learning GAPS cooking techniques, those people should start on full. People who travel a lot, those people should start on full. Um, yeah, most of the time we will have people start on intro if they are having severe diarrhea problems like that. They should start on intro, but you know, it's always a good idea to set yourself up for success. I say that all the time. Let's set you up for success. Learn how to make meat stock, chicken and beef and lamb and pork and. Get a bunch of it in your freezer. Learn how to make soups and stews from meat stock. Learn how to make blended soups. Learn how to make ferments and get them all set up on your counter and in your refrigerator before you even think about starting intro. Yeah. All right. I hope that's helpful. Paulina, I hope that's helpful. All right, Miriam says, I will be diluting egg yolks to introduce them to my 1-year-old daughter. She's definitely sensitive to them. Should I be diluting the egg yolks for myself as well, since she's still breastfeeding? I haven't had eggs in months. Yes, there's your answer. If you haven't had eggs in months, definitely start by diluting. If you haven't had eggs in months because they are causing eczema, yeah, start with diluting. Definitely. Okay. Hello, Karen. So good to see you. Thanks for stopping by. You're very sweet. Okay. All right. Does anyone have any other questions? I'm happy to answer whatever you've got. Questions about GAPS. Here I am singing to you. I have to tell you, I love this idea of you being able to turn the knobs. I haven't ever expressed it that way. I've never taught it that way. That you get to really modulate, regulate how fast you have die-off. And you get to do that. Yeah, for sure. All right. I want to do one other thing since I don't have other questions. Let's talk about pork. Let's talk about pork and GAPS because I'm seeing a lot of very interesting things on Facebook that are not actually accurate. So let's go ahead and talk about pork. So can you have pork on GAPS? Yes. If you have a religious belief that keeps you from eating pork, perfect. Don't have pork. No problem. But for the rest of us, pork is just fine. There was a live blood analysis study done on people who ate pork that was not either fermented or marinated in an acid prior to cooking. And it wasn't good. I will post that link from the Weston A. Price Foundation on this page later today. So the idea is you need to either ferment the pork. How do you do that? Put it in a pot before you make a meat stock, fill it up with water, throw in a handful of sauerkraut, let it sit on the counter at room temperature for 6 to 8 to 12 hours, and then cook your meat stock. Or you could, as I said, marinate in an acid. Pork and lime go very well. Pork and lemon, pork and whey, even raw milk. You can just soak it. Soak the pork. So if you do those things prior to making a meat stock, you're good to go. I just want to bring that up. I am not aware of anything in the Blue Book or the Yellow Book that talks about having to salt pork prior. However, when pork is salted, like making prosciutto, right, or cured, salt pork or salamis, things like that, you don't have to think about soaking or fermenting or anything. I just wanted to bring that up, folks, because I'm seeing a lot of weird stuff out there that, oh, we're not supposed to have pork on GAPS. That's absolutely not true. always we're getting the cleanest food we can find from animals that were raised on pasture, that are eating what they're supposed to be eating, right? Yeah, then we're good to go. All right, let's see. If die-off is too extreme, can we get help from binders? One more time, Olivia. I'm smiling at everyone. You get to control how strong die-off is. We really don't use binders in gaps, believe it or not. We can, um, but it's not something that most practitioners work with. And yeah. So, can you use binders? You're thinking things like diatomaceous earth or charcoal, etc. I would highly suggest that you work the diet and that you just dilute and back off and go slowly and support your body through die-off with what? Epsom salt baths. There are 5 detox baths. You can check out that video. So all the detox baths, coffee enemas, sitting in the sunshine, castor oil packs. I mean, you can do 2 detox baths a day, no problema, right? So really support yourself before adding one more thing in. The difficulty with binders, folks, is that people usually take them too close to food and then they're losing their nutrition. So I encourage you to dial back the foods you're eating and just to increase the fabulous daily detox program that you have going on, which everyone should have. We've talked about that before, yeah? All right. Perfect, Olivia. I love it. Hello, Charisse. Good to have you with us. What about rendering lard? I have a fabulous, I know, I try not to write bad things. If I do say so myself, I have a fabulous article on rendering lard on my website, simplybeingwell.com. Just put lard in the little search bar and you'll find it. No, we don't have to do anything to the fats at all. If you're buying, in terms of pork, if you are purchasing or raising clean pigs, if you will, right, that are out on pasture doing what they're supposed to be doing, their fat will be fine. You don't have to worry about doing anything besides just melting off the fat. Yeah, nothing has to be done ahead of time. All right, Emily. Hello, Emily. I hope I said that right. Nash. My husband has very dry skin and scalp. What could that be a sign of in terms of gut flora? Sure. All right. I would really increase the amount of fats in his diet. Remember that we really want to get those animal fats, mostly animal fats, yeah, on GAPS. Mostly animal fats, 80%, 90% animal fats. We want to be having adults, I don't know, 6 tablespoons a day, 8 tablespoons a day, 12 tablespoons a day on GAPS. I don't know if he's having enough fat. For a little perspective, let's remember that a stick of butter, in the US anyway, is 8 tablespoons. So he could have a stick of butter a day. I would also look at fish oil for your husband, for sure. Make sure, remember that's one of the 5 GAP supplements, fish oil. A good clean fish oil that is not cod liver oil. Those are 2 different things. I may actually do a live on that soon, just to get people clear. Oh, you're welcome. Hello from Sweden. I love it. You're welcome for the invitation. All right. I hope that's helpful. The other thing is when you're looking at, so internal, make sure whoever has dry skin, they're eating a lot of fat. External, make sure you're putting only food on the skin. So tallow or lard or tallow and lard on the skin topically. If there's a lot of dandruff, that's usually a yeast issue. Cut out nuts, cut out seeds, cut out fruit. Start drinking a lot of kefir. Kefira, that's milk kefir. You can even put it on the scalp topically. Hope that's helpful. All right, we've got Miriam. Miriam. Hi, Miriam. I hope I'm saying that right. Okay, could you tell us a little about how candida symptoms show up during the intro and die off? One more time with feeling poor little candida. Hmm, sorry. Candida is just another yeast that's gotten a really bad rap because it's been so studied. Right? That's my magnifying glass. I'm looking at it. Yeah, so candida is a help to you. If candida is in the body, it has been invited into the body to help protect you, usually from heavy metals. So, what you need to do is make sure that you are getting the heavy metals out, meaning if you have them in your teeth as amalgams, have them removed, work the diet, and eventually bring in a lot of kefir, milk kefir. Eventually, the candida will leave on its own accord. Yeah? But you really need to work the diet and work it for 2 years, 3 years, a while. Yeah. How do symptoms show up during intro and during the intro and die off? Usually candida or any other yeast will show up as athlete's foot, toenail fungus, rashes in the warm and dark places of the body, warm and moist, rashes under the arm, rashes in the elbow crease, rashes behind eczema, rashes behind the knees, rashes in the groin. It can show up as vaginal yeast infections. It can show up as cradle cap on the head. You can even have rashes and eczema between the fingers. So, yeah, usually that's what it shows up like. Usually. So, what do? No nuts, no seeds, no fruit. Good long while. 6 months, 8 months, lots of kefir. Gradually working your way up in terms of the amount of kefir that you can handle. All right. You're welcome. Thank you. I have retainers. Thank you. I have retainers. I don't know what that means. You have retainers. Oh, heavy metals. Hello, Laura. Good to have you. Ha! I would love to know more about the difference between fish oil and cod liver oil. This whole time I thought they were the same thing. All right, Laura, I know that you read your books, so one more time with feeling, everybody. Take a look. If you've got the yellow book, look in there under supplements. If you've got the blue book, look in there under supplements. Dr. Natasha is clear about the difference between cod liver oil and fish oil. They are two different things. Cod liver oil comes from the livers of cod. Imagine that. And fish oil usually comes from the skin of the fish. So, just a quick one. I'll give you a teaser. Cod liver oil is about vitamin A, vitamin K, yeah? Fish oil, cod liver oil is an immune support, if you will, because of vitamin A, very strongly in A. And just like liver, right? When you eat liver, what's the gift of liver? Vitamin A, K, A, D, K, etc. And then fish oil is all about omega-3. Omega-3s, omega-6s, omegas, EFAs. Fish oils are really their gift is EFAs. That's brain function. Brain, fish oil, immunity, cod liver oil. Does that mean that cod liver oil doesn't have EFAs? No, it does. But it's mostly vitamin A. All right, hope that's helpful. Is white tongue also a sign of candida? White tongue is also a sign of a yeast imbalance. People call that thrush. So, yeah. Yes. All right, so hooray, hurrah, hurrah. Good to be with you all. I am going to need to sign off in just about a minute. And I will see you next week. Yeah? I will see you next week, 12:15 Mountain Time on Tuesday. And I would be happy to talk with you then. Yes, In the meantime, visit the page. I am getting on the page. I apologize. I haven't been on there, but I'm answering questions, trying to get at least 5 or 10 done a day to catch up and get through all the ones that are in there. And welcome, welcome to anyone who's new. Welcome. We're happy you're with us. Blessings to you on your GAPS journey. And I look forward to talking with you next week. Okay. All right. Take good care, everyone. Thank you. Bye bye.